Welcome, Larry. We're just getting started on our backs. If you want to put something under your head, like a pillow or a blanket, and then also have a block near. Morning. All right. So just letting your feet be wide, your head be supported, and your hands to rest on your belly. Allow your shoulders to snuggle into the floor. Mainly your shoulder blades. And taking the time to detect that first movement of breath underneath your hands. So it might be just the smallest rise of your belly up and down. Just let there be a gentleness to your breath this morning. A little bit of a slowness to it as well. And a heaviness to your jaw. And take notice of the rate of your breath. Maybe it's slower this morning. Maybe it has just a little bit more of a swiftness to it. Just want you to observe it all right now without feeling the need to change it right away. How does your clothing, your skin, and your bones feel underneath your hands? Folks who are just coming in, welcome. We're starting on our backs, feet wide, something under your head and your hands on your belly. And those of you who have been here for a while, you need to find a little bit more length. Now you're ever so slightly beginning to shift your breath, making it longer both as you inhale and as you exhale. Being aware of any edges in your breath. Working to find them just a bit smoother. So that might mean breathing even slower. Also may mean if you're gasping for air, try to find a little less of a pause between your inhale and exhale. So they roll right into each other. Just a few more moments here. You might even move your hands up onto your rib cage. Feeling more of that easy movement in your diaphragm. Your diaphragm actually drops down when you inhale, letting your lungs expand. And then it moves up as your lungs contract, your diaphragm goes up. Maybe you feel that today, maybe you don't. Maybe you just let that concept settle into your body. And then finally, let your hands move up onto your chest. Feel your skin move here as you breathe. And then from your hands on your chest, slowly open your eyes. Allow your arms to open out to a T with your palms facing up. Move both of your toes up towards the ceiling. So your legs are going to get a little more active, flexing at your ankles, toes to the ceiling. And then starting to move into triangle pose on your back. So allow your right foot to turn out to about 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, somewhere there. And then you're gonna shift at your waist. So your head's gonna come off of your support and you're gonna kind of move laterally to the right. Your right hand may touch down somewhere on your leg. It may stay out more a little bit. So you wanna mimic triangle pose, but being on your back on the floor. Just a couple breaths, noticing the compression in the right side of your waist and noticing the space on the left side of your ribs. Still with your right toes pointed out between 2 and 3 o'clock, and your left toes straight up to 12 o'clock still. One more breath in and out. And then slowly maneuver yourself back to center. Put your head on your pillow or your blanket, both toes up to 12 o'clock, both arms out, palms up. And then working your way to triangle pose on your back on the other side. Left toes turning out somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock. Starting to let your torso and your head move off your support and letting your left arm come down on your leg. So you're just feeling that first sensation, that first little moment of space in triangle pose, but with full support of the floor. Noticing that little bit of compression on the left side of your waist and the simultaneous opening on the right side of your ribs. Just a couple more breaths. And then start to slowly move yourself back. Head on your pillow, your blanket, both toes up to 12 o'clock. Reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling, so straight up above you. And then all the way over your head as you start to bring your legs a little closer, but they don't have to touch all the way together. Reach your fingers and toes in opposite directions. Long full body stretch. Exhale, pulling your knees up over your hips so you make a little tabletop on your back. You can keep your head on your support or remove it if that feels better. And all I want you to do here is snuggle your lower back into the floor while keeping your jaw and shoulder blades as relaxed as you can. Just feeling a little bit of press of your lower back into the ground. Go ahead and flex through your ankles, toes up towards the ceiling, still just firming your lower spine into the floor. As you continue to expand with your breath in your nose, maybe right back out your nose, or maybe it feels better to breathe out of your mouth today. Next, inhale, slowly straighten your legs up towards the ceiling. Start to feel the length in the backs of your hamstrings, your knees, your calves, and then point your feet, curl your toes. Good, cross at your ankles, hands to your kneecaps, and just a very gentle up and over to come from your back. to sit for just a moment, upright with your spine, palms towards the ceiling, eyes closed. And just let yourself feel the imprint of those first soft postures. You might feel the imprint of the mat or the floor on your back. Ease up in your jaw. If there's anything you need to mentally set aside, put it in a nice little box in your brain and then set it to the side. If there's something you need to focus on in this morning's practice, let it present itself. Whether it's an intention or just a reminder or some thoughts you need to send out to someone else. And then when you're ready, allow your eyes to open. You're gonna move into tabletop, but right away, grab your blankets. Or if a blanket's not available, take your mat and you're gonna fold it up so you have a little extra cushion for your knee. A block over to your right side. And we're gonna start right away with our happy little hamstrings. So your left knee either on your folded over mat, or you can take your blanket across your mat, left knee there, right foot forward, and you're gonna come right into half splits. I like the block underneath the right hand for support. But we're just gonna take a little inventory of what's happening here today. So stay upright in your spine with just a little lean forward at your hips and start to move your right foot. So point, exhale, flex. See if your breath reacts to these moves, just with your ankle. See if your jaw is reacting in any way. And how your shoulders are functioning. So we start to get a little bit more awareness, the back of your right leg. Good. And it's at any pace, the point and flex of your foot. One more each way. And then walking your hands and or block forward, tucking your left toes and just lifting your knee. Staying leaning forward in your torso. Exhale, tap your left knee down to the floor. Inhale, lift your knee back up. So that now, you're just gonna hinge and straighten at your left knee. And again, notice how your jaw reacts. Are you able to stay with your inhale and exhale? Exhale, knee down. Inhale, knee up. And is your spine still long and extended here? Again, it's just taking that inventory now of your back leg, but in a different way. Nice, everybody. Couple more. Last two. And your hands are pretty light. So watch if you get really aggressive with your hands. Lift your knees somewhere between the floor and extending. And take a couple steps up with your left foot and move right into a half lift, either with your block or with your hands on the floor. And 5% more weight shifting forward to the balls of your feet. Good, so your feet are about inner hips width distance. Your back is beginning to lengthen out. Your hamstrings are beginning to awaken a little bit more. And you're always paying attention to your breath. Good. Notice if you have any tendency to lock out through a joint. A gentle bend will always help your muscles to activate so you don't take it into connective tissue in your body. If the block is underneath your hands, move it to the left side. Begin to take a few steps back with your right foot. Let your right knee come down to the blanket. Refold your mat. Do what you need to do. Ardha Hanuman with your left leg forward and your chest up. Good, and you're gonna play with your left ankle. So pointing, curling your toes, pulling your toes back towards your shin. Shoulders down, and you can do anything with your other hand. It can be on the floor, on your hip, a hand on each block if that's accessible. And again, you're just gonna go down a little bit of a checklist. What's your face doing? How is your breath going? And what's happening with the tops and the inner edges of your shoulder blades. So always working tops of the shoulders down and shoulder blades together. Good, last couple. Light on your hands. Good, one more each way with your ankle, flex and point. And then as you walk your hands and or blocks forward, left foot flat, right toes under, inhale, right knee up, exhale, bring it down. So now moving into your right leg awareness, more awareness of your right hip flexor, right? It's kind of right at the top of your quadricep in the region of your hip. And then do that same little check, jaw, breath, and shoulders. Here, there's a little bit more synchronicity. Exhale, knee down. Inhale, knee up. Good. Try to extend your spine out for the last 3. Don't grimace out there. You don't have to have a big old goofy smile, but try not to grimace. Bring your knee halfway between those 2 spaces and start to step your right foot up. Halfway lift. Block is great to have underneath you. Small shift forward onto the balls of your feet. Although keep your heels on the ground, so right, we're not trying to lift our heels up. Not yet, at least. And it will be helpful to have at least one block underneath you as you come into a twist in this half position. Left hand under your face, right arm out to the side, and you want to keep pretty level right here on your sacrum, and you're just going to twist from your belly button to your shoulder. So you might not lean super far back, that's all good. It's just from here, you're turning, reaching up through your right hand. Then everybody's got it. Breathe in and out. Releasing the twist on and inhale when that happens for you. Right hand down. Start with your left arm straight out from your shoulder. And then exhale, rotate open. It might be to a similar degree or a different degree on the side. Keep your sacrum level. Remember, grandma's favorite teacup is back there and it's full to the brim and you don't want to spill it. So the twist is happening from the middle of your torso. Last few breaths. Trying to always release a twist as you inhale. Both hands to the block, halfway lift. And then exhale, allow yourself slowly to go into a full forward fold unless you've been having lower back pain. And if that's the case, please stay in the half lift position. Otherwise, you can come into the full fold, letting your head relax down. Allow your mouth to open up. Just let your tongue hang around somewhere in your mouth, but not stuck anywhere. Good. Inhale, come back into the half lift position. Wiggle your big toes all the way to kiss together. And then take your left foot back. And it doesn't need to be as far back as a lunge or anything like that, because you're going to put a little bit more reliability on your hands as you put weight onto your right foot and untuck your left toes. So you're basically coming onto your toe knuckles, a little bit more point, and just a tiny bit of pressure here. And your back toes are curled under, but you'll simultaneously feel a little bit more healthy pressure on your right standing leg. Good. 1 or 2 more breaths in and out. Letting your ankle adjust to help you balance. And then slowly tuck your toes. Try to press the ball of your foot into the floor. And walk your left foot up. Now just take a moment before busting right into the next side to just notice, do you feel any kind of sensation, tingling, pressure, shortness in your right leg? Maybe, maybe not. It's all one big experiment here. Left foot stays down, right foot goes back, maybe into like a pyramid length stance. Trust your hands and your left foot as you curl and basically point and put the smallest amount of pressure on your right toe knuckles. Watch what your shoulders do, everybody. Let's be as long as we can in our backs. As full as you can in your breath. Open and close your mouth a few times. Last breath or 2 on this side. Now tuck your right toes under, just a little bit of the opposite action with your toes. Ball of your foot pressing down. And then the right foot stepping up, hands onto your legs, halfway lift. Press to your feet, slowly come up to stand. Nice and easy. Mountain pose, palms forward, shoulder blades down. Eyes open or closed, always up to you. But find a little bit more activity in your legs. That might just mean using your glute muscles. And then as you inhale, open your eyes, reach your arms overhead. Take opposite hand, opposite elbow as you stand. Good, a little bend in your knees. Take a little shift over to the left side from your waist. Inhale, come to the center. Exhale, over to the right side. Inhale, center, exhale to the left side. So your hips are the anchor point, and it's from here that you're just going to take a small move side to side. You want to exhale to the side, inhale to the center. Keep your heart nice and bright up towards the ceiling. One more time each way. And when you're ready, come back to center. Reach up through your elbows and your triceps. Still keeping a pretty neutral spine, so you don't need to fully tuck or fully stick your bum out, just pretty neutral in your whole spine. And then exhale, release your arms. Let a little blood come back to them. You can move them around. If your blanket is on your mat, move it to the side. If your block is far away, bring it back to the party. First standing triangle, left foot forward, right foot at a 45-degree angle, and typically you line up your right heel to the middle, your left heel to the middle of your right arch. About 2.5 feet, maybe a little longer, but triangle should actually be a little shorter stance than warrior pose. So just keep that in mind. You put the block to the outside of your left calf or foot. We're not even going to touch the block this first time though. You're going to put your left hand on your thigh and start to take that lean forward, reaching your right fingers down towards the floor. We're going to visit this several times, so we're not in a hurry. We're just enjoying the points along the way. Good. Now wrap your right arm behind your back. Press the front of your right shoulder back just a little bit more. Push through your left foot. Inhale, come up. Exalted triangle. Nice gentle reverse of your torso. Watch if you're locking your knees, hyperextenders. Inhale, come back up. Now let your left hand spider web over your kneecap. Just a little spider web. Right shoulder back still. Good. Press through your left foot. Inhale. Exalt your triangle. Lean it back. Stretch in your left rib cage. And then now you can let your hand come just a little bit below your knee on your shin. Left arm back, left shoulder back. Just kidding. Right shoulder. Ha-ha. Good. Press to your feet. Inhale. Exalt your triangle. If you ever feel your lower back tug against that, you'll bend your knee to come up. And then left hand to your block. Right hand to your hip. I want you to actually take your hip bone. It's called your ACES bone. It's kind of that front hip bone, and point it down a bit, down towards the floor. And then inhale, open it up, just a smidge. Exhale, you'll point it down. Inhale, open it up. So you're just doing a little rotation down to the floor and opening towards the front. Take that a couple more times. And then I want you to find the sweet spot for your hip. So it can be in one of those two starting or ending points or somewhere in between. And then lift all 10 of your toes up. Feel that tripod underneath each foot. Toes stay lifted. Legs feel active. And let your breath be active as well. A couple more rounds here. Wherever you are with your hip, try to work your right shoulder back just a hair. Good. Exhale, let your toes spread and press down onto the floor. Everyone, bend your left knee like you're doing a mini warrior and push through your left foot to come up. That takes the struggle out of your spine. Pick up your trusty friend, the block, to the other side. Right toes out. Block can be anywhere towards your baby toe, towards your calf. That's up to you. My suggestion is the highest height. And we're starting pretty high up. Right hand to your thigh. Left arm down by your left side, reaching towards the floor. Enjoy your breath in and your breath out. Good. Inhale, let your torso come up. And then exhale, lean from your side. Right hand spider webbing over your knee. Begin to wrap your left arm behind your back. And what's referred to as the head of your shoulder, the front of your shoulder, that's what you're just gonna press back a little bit. If you need to physically take your right fingers to do so, it's always an option. It's a little self-adjustment. Press through your feet. Inhale, come up. Exalt your triangle. Lean towards your left leg. Inhale, come up. Now allowing your right hand to come just a little bit below your kneecap on your shin. Left shoulder back. Breath in and out. And again, you're always welcome to bend your front knee. As you press through your right foot, come up. Exhale, lean back. And let your right hand slowly arrive onto the block. Just a tiny bit of support there. Left hand to your hip. You're going to take that same little point down of your hip. Open. And notice how you feel your inner thigh, your adductor muscle on your right leg react to this rotation. I'm going to take it slow so you don't feel anything happen too quickly. Exhale, hip a little down. Inhale, hip a little open. Take it about 2 more times, 3 more times. And then wiggle around into your sweet spot with your hip. Good. You can wrap your left arm back behind you. And then find your triangle here for a couple breaths. If it ever feels like too much on your hip, you can point it down more towards the floor. You don't necessarily need to open your hip anymore here. Just find the right amount, the sweet spot. Good. To come up out of this, bend your right knee, right above your ankle, push through both of your feet. Inhale, come up. Take another lean back with your knee bent or straight, either or. And then inhale, come back to center, arms by your side, both toes facing forward. Even a little pigeon-toed in. Hands on your hips. Inhale, up towards the ceiling with your chest. Exhale, halfway down, knees bent. Press to your feet. Inhale, come back up. Tiniest bend in your knees. Good. Exhale again. Hinge from your hips. Reach out with your chest, just halfway. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, one more hinge, holding the halfway point. Reaching your tailbone back behind you, your head out in front. Press to your feet. Inhale, come up to stand. Heel toe your feet all the way in. We're going to give our legs a break in that way for just a moment. You come into chair pose. Toes touch together, heels apart. And I don't care what you do with your arms. You can go out. You can interlace back behind, opening up through your chest. If you want a little bit more holding strength, arms up. Nice. And then try to find, again, that neutral spine where you're not over tucking or you're not sassy-assing back. Somewhere in the middle. Now feel your quadriceps, the very tops of your thighs working here. Feel your breath working for you also. Lift all your toes up here. So again, you notice where your feet are on the floor. So your brain understands that anchor point on the ground. Toes down. Inhale, slowly come up to stand in what's called Samastitihi, equal stand with your toes together, eyes closed. It's just more of a narrow mountain pose. Tops of your shoulders down, inner edges of your shoulder blades towards each other. Do that one more time. Tops of your shoulders down, inner edges of your shoulder blades snuggle. Open your eyes, inhale, stretch your arms out and up, opposite hand, opposite elbow over your head. So you're just holding your arms like you would in ragdoll, but standing. Take your feet a little wider, bend your knees. Exhale over to the left side. You don't necessarily need to go any farther to the side. Inhale, center, exhale to the right. Inhale, center, one more time each side. Keep your torso fairly upright. Good, come back to the middle. Release your hands slowly and just feel the blood come back into your arms, your fingers, your shoulders. Do a little shimmy forward and back, trying to keep your spine and shoulders supple. Back to triangle we go. Left toes out. But this time, I want you to start in kind of a crouched position. So you're like really going down towards your leg. This way we can really feel ourselves push into the floor, root into the floor as you rise up into triangle. Left hand on the block or your shin. You're kind of gonna blossom up and open into this Trikonasana triangle. And then exhale, retreat a little bit out of it and see if you need to point your right hip down. And again, inhale, blossom it open. Exhale, come down just a little bit. Relax your shoulders and the weight on your left hand. 2 more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, just close it down for a moment. Last one, open it up, hold it here, right arm reaching tall, and choose where to settle your gaze, up, forward, or down. And then make your left side body just as long as your right side body. Think about that for a second. Your left side body, right under here, as long as your right side body. If that means you need to bring your hand up higher, that's fine. Go for it. Last 2 breaths. So come out of your triangle, bend your left knee, push through your left foot, come up, arms to a T, toes facing the same direction. Reach, reach, reach out through your fingertips. And then exhale, float your arms down. Do a few shoulder shrugs. Remember, even when you're picking up something as simple as a block, try to bend your knees, keep your chest up, like you would move a heavy box. You want to move the block to the other side. Triangle pose, right foot. Gonna start down a little bit. So hand to the block, your shin, letting your hip point down for a second, and then inhale, allowing your whole body to open up. Exhale, close it down for a moment. Rotate your torso to point towards the floor, and then inhale, open up. Do that about 3 more times. Keep your face relaxed as you do this. And then find yourself settling in, but reaching out in all directions in your Trikonasana triangle. And gaze in a similar spot, so down, forward, or up. Right side body just as long and extended as your left side body. And make any adjustments so you can find that. Good, last few breaths. Again, watch your face, your breath, and your shoulders. So you bend into your right knee. Feel a little heavier on your right foot as you slowly come up, arms to a T, toes to point the same direction. Upright in your chest. And then exhale, arms by your side. Now, just bring your heels in once so your toes point out. Come down as you lean forward into a goddess squat and lift your heels anywhere from 1/4 inch to 2 inches to 3 inches. Shoulders down, shoulders down. And then I want you to feel like your heels are pulling towards each other. So we've been doing a lot of adductor length, but I want you to feel your heels pull towards each other so you feel a little bit more stable in your inner thigh muscles. Just to find that equal balance for your legs. Exhale, heels slowly descend. Press into your feet, come up to stand. Just so we really seal the deal in our body, 2 more times. Goddess horse squat. Toes stay down, heels go up. And then pull your heels towards each other. They're not physically gonna move in space, but you're gonna feel everything zip in towards your hips and groins. Shoulders a little more easy, everybody. 1 more breath in. Exhale, slowly heels down. Slowly rise up. Last time, exhale, bring it down, lean forward. Press into the balls of your feet. Try to lift your heels straight up so your foot's not sickling one way or the other. And then feel like your heels are magnets trying to move towards each other. Maybe your hips go down a tiny bit, maybe they don't. 3, 2, 1. Heels down, slowly press, stand, and just let your quads, your thigh muscles, your adductors all relax for a second. And then another triangle each side. Journey to the left side. Behind your friend the block. And then I want you to find a different variation with your top arm. So that'll be your right arm. And know that the more you take weight towards your front foot, the more you're gonna feel it on your lower back. So a lot of the times we get used to this, right? Like taking the arm over the ear, holding the beach ball, but then, you feel it too much here. So maybe you just work with your elbow bending, so it's a little less pressure, but still that really long right side body feel. Maybe you go back to wrap your arm behind you. Sometimes it's also nice to take your left hand onto your right hand, so you can just have a little bit more freedom in your torso. So just find an ever so slightly different triangle pose for yourself right here. Yeah, you can put your forearm on your thigh. You can breathe. It's nice to breathe. And do you need to change your right hip? You can also point down a little bit and look at your bottom foot. Lift all your toes up. So that'll help you feel that little bit more activity of your adductors, not just lengthening, but pulling in towards your groins and center. Toes down. Bend into your left knee. Press into your left foot. Slowly come up. Toes to center. And just pause in the middle. Close your eyes. Notice how it's nice to feel the energy moving in, around, on your legs. And it's nice to help us mentally focus when we feel our body working. It's pretty hard to think about anything else. Open your eyes, shift to the right side. And again, you're gonna find that little bit of variation. So it can be anything from your arm up. It can also be your arm down, behind, a small reach. So it's just a little bit of weight without, right, like forcing gravity to take you down and strain your back. You can also do the wrap with your right hand on your left hand. It's one of my personal faves. But don't do it, because I said it. Do what you need to do this morning. Adjust your hip, adjust your gaze as needed. It's our last standing triangle. Lift all your toes up. All your toes. It's gonna actually help your arch lift as well. And let your ankle be more in the center. Last few breaths. Toes down. Slowly, one body part at a time. Right knee bends, push into your foot, come up to stand. And toes forward. Eyes closed. A wide, stable mountain, palms forward. Shoulder blades towards each other, right? The inner edge. Top of your shoulder like your cap sleeve down. Do that one more time. Inner edge of your shoulder blades together. Cap sleeves down. Good. Inhale, open your eyes, arms up. Opposite hand, opposite elbow. Reach your left elbow a little higher than your right. And then equalize your right elbow to your left. Take your right elbow higher up. And then come back to the center. Heel toe your feet in right underneath your hips. Just a couple breaths standing, neutral spine. One more inhale. Exhale, take your arms behind you, interlace your fingers. Think about knuckles down, not just arms up high. You want to think about your shoulder blades together, cap sleeves down, Exhale, come into a half forward fold. Now your knuckles are reaching back, straight behind you. Option to stay here, option to come into a forward fold with your head down. And then maybe your knuckles move a little closer to the ceiling. Again, they might not. 5% more weight to the balls of your feet. Feel your inner thighs spiral back, which I know is one of the weird concepts in yoga. So you're thinking about pressing your heels out towards the baby toe sides of your feet. One more breath. Exhale, release your hands. I think it's a good old time for a downward facing dog. First one. So come into it and see how it feels like 3/4 of the way through a practice. Your first down dog. Now that you've gotten all this good effort and energy moving around your legs, maybe you don't feel as heavy in your shoulders since we haven't done a million downward dogs. You may feel the opposite. Since it's the first one, you might feel stiffness in your neck, in your shoulders, in your jaw. One more breath in. Exhale, knees gently touch down to the floor. For the sake of your knees, it's best to actually sit to the side rather than to sit straight back on your heels. So you're going to sit to the side, sweep those legs out in front. If you've got a blanket, sit on it. This is going to be a little uncomfortable to do on a block. So either blanket, or if you're ready to squish a decorative pillow with your behind, go for it. You're going to cross at your ankles. Knees don't have to be directly on top of each other. Just think about your ankles crossing. Take your time as you're setting up. Starting with your toes pulling back towards your shins, lean forward. It's just a different way to take Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Arms out to the side really helps your shoulder blades come together and down. But you can walk your hands forward. You can lean forward. You can also choose none of the above. Now transition your ankles in the opposite direction. So pointing, curling your toes. Feeling more now on the tops of your shins towards your kneecaps. Inhale, lift your torso up. Switch the cross of your ankles. Start with your feet pointed. Wiggle up nice and tall on your sits bones. And then exhale, lean. Keeping integrity in your back. And then flex your ankles, toes up towards the ceiling. Oh, London wants to do yoga too. Oh, yep, here she is. Everybody, if you haven't met London, this is my little dog. Exhale, lean forward. Shoulders down, spine long. Inhale, lift up. And see if you can just stay in this stable lifted staff pose position. Shoulders back and down. Slow breath out. Good. Unwind your ankles. You can come off of your blanket support, feet wide. Fingers either out to the side or back behind you to keep that openness in your shoulders as you windshield wiper side to side, glute to glute. Very low key lower back twist, very low key. And really work to transition from one edge of your foot to the other edge of your foot. Yeah, keep that tall chest up towards the sky or ceiling. Good, and then as you come to the center, feet planted down, knees stay bent. You can move your blanket up so your head lands there as you roll your way down, or a nice way to come down is also elbows. Let your hands reach towards the outside of your thighs, come onto your mid-spine, head to the floor. Oh, and doesn't it feel so nice to just let the floor do some work for you? Lift your knees back up. We're coming back into that tabletop position. The only thing you're doing here is exhale, maybe a little wiggle so your lower spine melds into the ground. And you don't need to over tuck. You don't need to exert all your energy to suck your belly button towards the floor, but just a nice groundedness for your lower spine. If you feel anything happening excessively in your hip flexors, the front of your hips, let your heels come all the way towards your bum. So your knees are really bent, and that should take a little bit of that tugging action out of your hip flexor. Now take the fronts of your shoulders, the heads of your shoulders, open a little more. You might even literally take your fingertips right there and kind of open up your own shoulders, that self-adjustment. Inhale, maybe your legs come up towards the ceiling, feet towards the sky. Viparita Karani. A pose we can always use. It's like when we had our arms over our head, you can feel the blood drain out of that limb. Down towards the ground, down towards your organs. Last couple breaths. Exhale, both knees bend till your heels come as close to your glutes as you can take, just naturally. Hands to your kneecaps, and just a little bit of compression of your knees towards your chest. Apanasana, a wind removing pose. And then let your knees back away. Arms straight, exhale, pull them in a little bit. Just straight in towards your chest. Do that a few times. If you need a little side to side rock to counteract, always available. And after your last one, just that gentle exhale, knees a bit closer to your chest. Release your hands, feet to the floor. Walk your feet wide, knock your inner knees together, constructive rest. Both hands on your belly. Eyelids softly closing down. Shoulder blades fully releasing into the floor. And remember, this is 100% your practice. So if this feels like a great place to rest, you'll stay in constructive rest pose. If you do need any other physical asana, posture, shape, or more of something that needs to be worked out for a second before you rest, take it. Or if there's any other shape that's specifically calling to you this morning, move into that instead for the last few minutes. Remembering when you do move towards your variation of rest, it's a posture whose purpose is to, yes, let you rest, but also to practice a sense of unwinding and stillness. Make sure you're comfortable. Welcome to make any adjustments. You can really drop in to practice stillness. Begin to notice the space around you, the sounds, the smells, the temperature. Begin to notice your own natural pattern of breath. So very slowly start to breathe a little deeper, wiggle around a little bit. Stretch like a cat that's just waking up in the morning. Eventually, quietly working into a comfortable seated position. Taking any pathway to get there. When you do arrive, having something under your sits bones, so your knees and hips feel a little bit more calm and relaxed. Bringing your hands up together to touch right in the center of your chest. We'll end our practice with 3 soft breaths together. In and out. In and out. One more. May this practice set a nice tone for the rest of your Friday, your week, maybe your April. And always thank you all so much for trusting me to guide you through this practice this morning. When you're ready, release your hands, open your eyes. Wow. Before you sign off, 3 things. Still having class next week. I'll just be teaching you from South Carolina instead of New Mexico. I'm going to meet my little nephew with my parents. And then the first week in May, Julie and I are going to start some outdoor classes. So I'm thinking starting the first Wednesday in May, 7 a.m. in the Bicentennial Alto Park. And then I want to ask you guys, do you want to keep, my plan is to keep Friday virtual. So you can either write me in the chat privately or to everyone. You can also go thumbs up, thumbs down. You're like, I don't know, I don't care. Could take Friday to the park as well, but also, want to keep this option open for everyone. So thumbs up means virtual. Just okay, cool. Mom, you want it virtual because you can't come 1,300 miles. That would be nice though. Okay, sweet. Well, thank you all again. Happy Friday. Happy everything. Good to see you all. You can always pop on so I can hear your voice. And yeah. Oh, I like that heart, Emily. That's cute.
Thanks, Amy Jane. Have a good weekend. Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter to you. Happy Passover for those who celebrated all the good
Triangle
holidays.
Day.